I am now a successful young entrepreneur and CEO living in Los Angeles, California. Throughout my career, I have been featured in the world's top publications, as well as attracted all the biggest tech on-demand startup and Fortune 500 companies I could think of as clients. Coming from pretty much humble beginnings, where I was even homeless at times, I worked my way up from any janitor or busser job I can get, to then getting promoted to bar backing and bartending, to then club and nightlife promotion, to now running my own successful marketing startup that I still run to this day. Through all that, I have learned that hard work can get you pretty much anything in life as long as you're persistent and you stay driven. I even utilize those same practices recently on my health, and I've lost just over 100 pounds, and I feel great. But what if I told you I did all this to win back one of my ex-girlfriends? And what if I told you after all this, she still said no?
For me, my why is and always will be for love, for a girl. I'm going to go on a mini tangent here, but please, stay with me. It'll pay off, I promise. Yes, as I stated earlier, I had a tough childhood and wanted to get into shape to avoid getting consistently beat up and protect myself and fight better. But even through that, I cared more about getting my first girlfriend and experiencing love for the first time. So, the most logical thing I thought was, at the time, while watching a ton of Power Rangers and Dragon Ball Z, I would practice the fighting moves. I would legit do that every day. I even made and wore the same leg and arm weights Goku would wear in the show, and, trained in them. I practiced the fight moves, did the sit-ups, the push-ups, played basketball, handball, tetherball, tag, foursquare, and ran with them all day. At school, after school, even at night. Yes, that did result in me getting beat up even more, but screw you. I thought it was smart at the time, so yeah. Also, remember those stupid food pyramids they used to brainwash us with at school? With a picture of cereal and a white loaf of bread at the bottom in the most important section of nutrition. Due to that false data, I legit remember eating slices of that white tasteless crap in between those dang sit-ups and those push-ups, having zero idea that it was just making things way worse. Now that I'm reflecting on this, I gotta take a second, and I'm just realizing now that brands probably paid a ton of money to brainwash us back in the day. They probably still are to this day, to get us in our heads that the healthiest things to eat are their man-made crap, it being the most important food and meal of the day above all the rest. I don't know. That's for another time, but anyway, I was doing all this not so I could finally make my first basket in basketball, but to actually ask a girl if she wanted to be my girlfriend and not get, a no for once. I knew it because I was a chubby kid, and I would legit tell girls it was cool they didn't want to be my girlfriend, but I would still give them some of my most prized possessions, which were at the time Pokemon cards. If they would just real with me and tell me, why they don't want to date me or why they would say no. And it was obviously an offer they could not refuse. And I gave up a lot of first edition shiny holographic, I don't know, was it ponytail Pokemon cards at the time, exchange for a lot of, you know, you're too chubby, or you're just kind of big, or you're cute but just kind of and you all know what that means. But it was good feedback, which to me at the time was worth more than any shiny card or money could buy. So many years of trial and errors later, plus a growth spurt, I finally lost enough body fat to appear at least normal. And junior high started, and I finally started getting some freaking yeses. The new problem that started to arise was a problem I've never told anyone till this very moment. That problem was that I was not fully through maturity yet, meaning my balls didn't drop and haven't gone through maturity, and I could not actually have sex. So I would just ask them out and we would fall in love, but then I could tell they began to get frustrated, and since I wasn't really taking things past the making out phase, we would never get to sex, which is totally understandable, but not something that you really want to tell a girl when you finally got a yes from one. I felt super bad because they would either get angry and call me, gay, or other insecurities would get the better of them and assume it was their fault based on something like their looks or something, which wasn't the case at all. But they were all perfect in my eyes, and I didn't know what to do. It's a really weird situation to be in, but we all have been in that situation at some point. Some of us were just luckier than others and went to maturity faster. But, I mean, during that time, I guess, everybody's going through something, and there's really no luck at all in that time of our lives. So I would just cower and cut the relationship short or off because I was just too embarrassed to tell them my balls simply had not dropped yet. I mean, let's face it, I did not need a new target on my back. After I worked so hard to lose that weight and repeat that cycle of after-school beatings, that was the chance I was not willing to take. Finally, years later in high school, yes, I was that much of a late bloomer. Probably due to all those damn processed foods I ate. Thought were healthy to lose weight, but we already talked about that. By the way, curse you, Tony. Beating my dick red every night and praying for it just to freaking ejaculate for the first time till sophomore year was anything but great, Tony the Tiger. So, at this point, there was really nothing I could do. I already blew it with all the girls in my grade due to the situation I was going through, or lack thereof. And it now being the first day of sophomore year, any shot I had at a freshman girl would just follow suit. It was time to accept the fate at this point. I really had nothing to lose, so might as well just come to school all punked out. Crazy, which is exactly what I did. I got all these ugly looking patches and put them all over my clothes and spiked my hair green and blue crazy spikes. I knew no girl would want anything to do with me at that point, right? And I was right. And it worked. Until the end of the day. 8th period math class. I'm sitting towards the back and everyone laughs at me as they walk by, as they've been the rest of the day or so. So far, so good. Until suddenly, the last girl walks in. freshman. Crazy patches on her clothes, just like me. Blue and green streaks of color in her hair that matched my hair, just like me. Shit. And where does she sit? Right behind me. Shit. I pretend I don't notice her, but then I realize because I'm slow in the head, I don't have a pen or pencil. Shit. I turn around to her. Hey, do you have a pencil I can borrow? She hands me hers and smiles, but doesn't say anything. Okay. Whew. Boom. I get a tap on my shoulder. Shit. I turn around and she says, ask me what day it was. Me, what? Her friend. Ask her what day it was. And I'm like, okay, what day is it? Her. October 3rd. Her and her friend start to laugh at me. Me confused as hell. What? No, it's not. Her friend then says, tell her it's raining. Me, still confused, especially since it's not raining. Okay, it's raining. She goes, yeah. Her and her friend and a couple others now join in are all laughing at me. I'm beyond confused as hell. But then, my slow head realizes they are just using me as a pawn. And quoting everyone's favorite movie at the time, Mean Girls. Shit. Me. Oh, nice. Yeah. Her. What's your name? Me. Aaron. Shit. Her. And this is... We both pause. And time stops. Slowly say at the same time, 8th period, math class. Now, gather around, kids, because I'm going to pick up my old cane and say, back in my day, before these things called memes, to entertain each other, we used to quote movies, TV shows, and music videos. And, well, for the 3 people on the planet of this earth that don't know what movie this is, Google Mean Girls. In this movie, the main character is played by Lindsay Lohan, and she meets her love interest, also called Aaron, in, you guessed it, 8th period math class. And no joke, his first line is, hey, can I borrow a pencil? I'm not making this up. You can Google it. Scene's probably also on YouTube somewhere. You could also buy it too, and you should buy it, because it's one of the greatest movies of all time, written by one of the greatest writers of all time, Tina Fey. And she deserves all the money in the world for creating such a masterpiece of a movie and creating one of the most epic moments of my life. So thank you, Tina Fey, wherever you are. And so, yeah, one meme led to another, and she finally became my girlfriend. But in the back of my mind, my anxiety kept crawling back. Since, even though this is one of the greatest situations of my life, I would have to one day flee or figure out a way to magically make my balls drop, because they weren't obviously doing them on their own. The relationship, though, it just legit never stopped getting better from that day we met. I even remember one day she was kissing me so much in the hallway. A teacher took her off me and said to us, listen, he's not a soldier going off to war. You need to relax and go to class. After that, I could not help myself. I even remember later that day, I let it slip that I loved her, and it was true. But I needed to think of something quick, because it was not fair to her. As time went on, I finally had a plan that since I had terrible grades as is anyway. I even remember considering, well, I guess if I have to drop out, then I won't have to. But, of course, as I predicted, things started to take a turn due to me not taking things to the next level, and she even kind of, I guess, created a situation. I don't really know even to this day if this was fiction or kind of too dark to mention right now, but regardless, it resulted in me having to defend her and getting into several physical fights with other guys at school, and also suspensions, and on the verge of an expulsion from me. If there were situations created due to her or other fabricated lies, well, I did apologize to them, and still to this day, those were some of the biggest regrets of my life. In executing such actions without hard evidence, I'm still learning a lot to this day, but that was when I really learned that. I was not the brightest bulb in the box, as obviously everyone knows, and have been played many times by many girls in the past, so it wouldn't have been surprised if this was the same case. However, if those situations that I thought were going on were true, and I was truly defending her from what I thought or was told was real danger, then I do regret nothing. But at this point in time, I didn't even know if I was going to be let back into school, so I really had nothing to lose. And so, yeah, after those situations, I remember she came to visit me after school, and I was all still bruised up from the fights, and just decided to come clean on why I was not taking things to the next level during our cry session we were having. And to my surprise, she told me, well, she told me something I never thought I'd hear, which was I was worth the wait, and she promised she would never tell anyone. I could not believe it. After all this time and anxiety and pressure, I finally let the truth out, and the second after I told her and she told me her response, I felt a weight that lifted off my shoulders that was just unimaginable. She also kept her word. She stopped pushing me past the making out part until I came. Well, I mean, yeah, until you guys get the point. But yeah, I could actually, yeah, I had my first wet dream. Okay, so, yeah, moving on. So, anyway, I'll never forget it. Even growing up in a tough area, was still ignorant as fuck about sex. Legit thought there was like a 50% chance of getting her pregnant, even though I had a condom. So, yeah, I would legit go to the store and search for the most strongest ones, even found one called extra spermicide. And I bought one, and I was sitting on the benches at the park just staring at these condoms I bought, and I was like, am I ready? Am I ready to join the military if we pop out a kid with her so I can financially support it? I was pondering this next to all the other kids from school during their morning bumps and blunts before school, and one of those girls, I'll remember this day, she was walking up to me with her cigarette, and she points it at the condom that I'm holding in my hand and says, "Isn't that for the girl that I've been seeing you around with?" And I told her, yes, but what if it doesn't work and I have a kid and I'm a kid and my raise is ready to raise a kid in case this doesn't work? And then all she could do was just stare at me and was like, after hearing those words come out of your mouth, I would take advantage of this opportunity because it probably might be your only one. And one day she could find out how dense you are, so this is it, don't you think? And she was right. But so anyway, taking those wise words of wisdom from that underage girl that was smoking a cigarette, I really pondered and went to school, and I don't know if this was somehow planned, but I then saw her, my girl, but she was dressed in all white pants, all white shirt, and it seemed that she even glowed from a distance. And based on that moment, all my doubts quickly left my mind, and my mind was made up for me. I took her to the Sadie Hawkins dance. Well, she took me to the Sadie Hawkins dance, and then straight to the most romantic place I knew of at the time, the bushes, across the street from the cafeteria. Yeah, I know, I felt like such a loser, but since this was the best I could do for such an amazing girl as herself, and it was both our first time, but in some bushes, you know. We had no car, no place, nowhere, no money, no cooler place to take her, but what could I do, you know? I took her, and surprisingly, she went with it. Well, then suddenly, we heard someone in the distance approaching, so we quickly made a run for it, half naked, putting back on our clothes at the same time. I was ready to just tell her, listen, thank you for being so cool, but it's okay. You can just leave me and date some other guy, some older guy that is just better off, actually has some money, maybe has a car or something, you know. You're just out of my league, and I appreciate you at least giving me a shot all this time. It meant the world to me. But before I could say anything, I started to catch my own breath. We finally got away and down the street, and she began to suddenly get up and start cheering in excitement, as well as crying. But she was crying with happiness. She said, I feel like we are in a music video. This is the best night of my life. This was legit just the type of girl she was. How did I find a girl like this? What did I do? And how did I get so lucky? Like, there has to be a God, and I owe him or her some, like, real shit, because, like, how could I ever pay a debt like this, you know? I wiped the tears off her face, and we hugged, and she just simply said, thank you. And that night was just one example of how things continued forever down the years. Yes, we obviously had some bad times too, like everyone else. Me one day waking up to my crappy car with cupcakes smeared all over it and keyed up because I didn't respond to her one night, even though she later found out it was because my band and I was practicing to play her surprise party. And thanks for nothing, Carrie Underwood. For those of you that get the joke, thank you. We just fought sometimes as passionately as we loved, and we always worked it out, on and off, like this, for 8 years. 8 freaking years. However, I was not born yesterday, and I know how when girls say to guys' faces that they only want to be with them, they are right and they have those right intentions, but they will end up hooking up with other people. It's life. It's cool. It's just how we are biologically built, and destined. It's gonna happen since we've only been with each other, and when you have the full package like that, you gotta let it go sometimes. So I prepared myself for it. After a couple times going through this, you know, her, oh, I made a huge mistake, it'll never happen again, to me, it's all good, you don't have to keep making the same promises you can't keep, just be real, it's all good, still love you. To us just having an understanding and on and off situation, and her still getting randomly mad at me when finding out that I was seeing other people too. I would even quote Ross from Friends and shout, "We were on break." However, a terrible impression I had. She'd never think it was funny, but we always seemed to gravitate back towards each other. And that's what really mattered to me the most. For years of putting up and even helping me with my many bullshit passion projects, you check them all out on YouTube, plug, and other entrepreneurship type ventures that all resulted in pretty much zero capital or zero value. We both agreed to say fuck it and both try it at this, making it in the big city. So we packed up and moved to LA together. She was going to college in Long Beach at the time, and my parents just launched their own tuxedo shop. And I got the opportunity and privilege to help them work there for about 80 plus hours a week to save up to move out to LA with her. After working super hard for all that time, I still didn't have much to speak of. Welcome to employment, life, and taxes. Also, due to all that built-up stress, it resulted in massive mistakes I made. I went to a party and saw a tray of brownies, and of course, my fat ass at the time ate the entire tray of brownies. And yes, unfortunately, I later found out they were pot brownies. And yes, I have never felt so much paranoia in my entire life. I legit started to think everyone at the party was trying to trick and poison and kill me. Cut to me in an ambulance, cut to me in a hospital puking out my guts, cut to me fighting off those poor nurses and doctors trying to save me, cut to a massive medical bill and thousands of dollars being wiped out from my bank account. All those years of saving up to nothing, leaving me with only $64 cash left in my bank account. Cut to disappointing to all my friends of how I acted, as I felt terrible putting my family and parents through so much stupid, shameless, unnecessary nonsense. Cut to me making the call to the girl of my dreams and letting her down. Letting her know that all the money I saved up finally for us to get our own place together for once in our lives, I blew in one night over one stupid mistake. Yes, depression, shame, suicidal thoughts, but it was what it was, and time to make the call. We have cheated on each other, we have hurt each other, we have been through it all, but I still can hear to this day the physical sound of a heartbreak. And I heard it when I broke the news to her. Yes, I was Aaron, the failure, full of the broken promises, but at least it was always an adventure, a journey, and we got to experience it together. But this didn't result in any of that. It resulted into nothing. After telling her this was her moment. Her moment to finally hang up on her loser broke boyfriend. As the college parties, the sex, the drugs, and everything went on in the background. But she didn't. She said, "It's okay. You'll figure it out. You will get here, and we will figure this out." I was like, "You heard that I only have $64, right?" She was like, "Yes, but you always do. We always do. Just watch." Me was like, "Always what?" Her. "You figure it out." I was speechless. No clever line I could quote from a TV show or a movie could come to my mind. It was just a simple, "Yes, you're right. I'll see you soon." I hung up the phone, Googled Greyhound bus ticket prices to LA, and results showed $25. Put my guitar amp I bought through my chocolate and Pokemon card and weed hustle, threw it up on Craigslist, writing subject line, "Only $25. Seriously, First come, first serve. Need to sell today for ticket to LA. Next fall, the type of conversation you have with your parents on the phone where you can hear them holding their tongues and legit only being like, okay. Did you, wow. Okay, well, you love you no matter what. I loved him to death. Grabbed one backpack, some clothes, a laptop, guitar, like $64 cash, got on the bus and headed to LA. I then navigated my way from LA to LBC campus through long walks and on foot, a couple other bus rides too. But with only $64 cash, you legit do things like, shit, this bus was worth the dollar fare, but this one, Also, would rather eat with this dollar, so we'll just walk or sleep on this bench for now, etc. Since, fortunately, I've been here before and was a pro at stretching and managing nothing. This part, I also have never told anyone before, not even to her, but it was now super late one night. I was almost there. I'm tired, cold, sweating from all the walking, but I finally saw it, the campus. I started to walk right out there. Anxiety started to hit. I pull up my cracked phone and text, "You're right, I figured it out. I am here. Again, I'm sorry. I can turn around now. If you never want to see me again, I understand. Regardless, thanks again for everything." Within seconds later, she texts back, "Yes," with like 1,000 S's with an exclamation point. "I've been stealing some extra food for you every day from the cafeteria. In case you did come, you can have some when you get here." I take a deep breath of relief. I walk up, and then suddenly in the distance, I see it's her. She does not see me. She is in her dorm room, and I see her through her window. She is scrambling to clean up her dorm to make it look nice for me, preparing some food she stole for me, warming it up for me to take care of me, a once again homeless loser with now only $62 cash in my pocket, a broken laptop, broken phone screens, no answer, no prospects, no connections, nothing. Zero. It's not fair. I don't deserve this, but again, here I am watching this live, right in front of me. The longer I watch, the faster she goes. She even now begins to look at herself in the mirror and clean herself up. Cut to me, unshaven, unkept face, flies orbiting my perimeter like I'm some type of fat sun, and Taco Bell sauce stains on my shirt from living off free Taco Bell sauce. Yeah, that's a thing. This is it. This was it. I knew at this moment I not only wanted to spend the rest of my life with this girl, I need to do whatever I can in my power to devote the rest of my time in my life to make sure I can take care of this girl, however I can, for the rest of my life. I have no idea how, but she is the one. And she's also always right. As she says, I can figure it out. We can figure it out. So it's my job to figure it out. This part does not give the LA experience justice, but right now we have to focus on only what's important, and that's my why. Remember? So even though I got stories for days that could fill dozens of books about mine and her experiences in LA, that's for another time. Right now, all that matters was the mission of me applying and working at all gigs and jobs to make any type of money I could help to provide. There was points where I was even working 5 jobs at once, only sleeping in between shifts on bus rides to and from the other jobs and gigs. I legit forgot what it felt like to sleep for a full 8 hours in one session just to get by. Seriously. The thing was, I was making it work, but always saw the signs of that it was falling short. I could barely take her out as is, and even had to ask her most of the time to pay for half of the rent, which was degrading after a while. Even though we lived under the same roof, our overall experience was the exact opposite of each other. A girl walks out in LA and gets consistently offered daily free club and mansion parties, free food, free dinner dates, exotic worldwide trips, gigs, and jobs that would pay for what some people make an entire year for one day's worth of work, if you even called it work. While the rest of us are lucky to be able to make a couple bucks to bus and scrub tables and clean up puke off the club floor. But it was all worth it, because not only did I get to spend some time with her, I was also always working on my own things that would, blow up one day. Just watch. What is a girl to do, though, when she is getting flooded with DMs and invites to Michael Bay's mansion party and fancy dinners with Bruno Mars, and all I could do was offer her and some, her friends a round of free drinks during one of my breaks at one of my shifts on one of the bars I worked at, Something just had to give him, even though she held on as long as she could. And we were on and off for years. We finally had the talk, and it came. So I'm sleeping there, and I get woken up from her. She's just coming back from one of her trips from living in New York for a while, and she goes, "Hey, we gotta talk." Me half awake from one of my shifts. "Okay, what's up?" Her, "I'm seeing one of the promoters out there." Me, "Yeah, again, that's cool, remember? I'm just happy you're back in. Just have fun, do you. All is good." Her, "No. Things are getting serious. I might move out there now." Me, "Oh, cool. How long?" Her, "So, not for a period of time this time, Aaron. For forever. Permanently. With him." Me, finally awake for the first time in years. "Oh shit." Her, "Yeah." Me, "Damn. Well, nothing I can do then, huh?" Her, "No. Sorry. And let's face it, Aaron. What is this? Do you even feel in love with me anymore?" Me, "Yes, of course. What do you mean?" Her, "We never see each other anymore. Yet we still live under the same roof. It just makes no sense. I don't even feel love for you anymore. When you kiss me, you feel like a brother or something. I feel nothing now. You know what I mean?" Me, "Shit, no. I don't know what you mean." Her, "Well, I'm flying out tomorrow. I have already moved most of my stuff over there, and you haven't even noticed." Me, "Shit. I'm sorry. I've just been..." Her, "Busy. You've just been busy working. I know. I'm sorry, Aaron." Me, "Do you love him?" Her, "Yes. You have even heard me tell this to him on calls while you're in the other room. Do you see how this isn't normal, Aaron?" Me, "But do you love him? You love me? No. Because I don't love you anymore, Aaron. Me. Wait. Are you serious? Her. Yes. Me. Okay then. If that is what you truly want, I guess there's nothing I can do. Her. Are you going to be okay? Me. Please don't ask me that. I mean, you know I'll be fine, but you know what I mean. I can't continue this conversation. I'm sorry. Gotta go. Her. Wait. What do you mean? My flight isn't until tomorrow. Me. Yes, but I need to drop you off at the airport right now. I can no longer physically be around you. Far too much longer. I'm going to flip my shit. I've not felt like this since back in high school. When I got fed some information, I'm still not clear to this day was false or not. That those guys were bragging on how they were going to rape you after school. And it resulted in me violently confronting them on it. And got me suspended and almost expelled. Remember? Her. Yes. Of course I remember. Okay. Let me take a quick shower and we'll go. Me doing push-ups on the ground to cool down. No. We gotta go. Now. So picture this. Exterior shot, Los Angeles. Highway, rain, night. We drove quickly to LAX. Her. Please say something. I stay silent because I knew if I do say anything, I'll just break down crying. And this may be the last time I ever see her. She can't. She can't remember me weak like this. Her. Please. I don't respond, which is followed by the longest moment of silence we have ever had in 8 years. Then her. That's when you know you found somebody special. And you can just shut the fuck up for a minute and comfortably share silence. She just quoted my favorite movie of all time, and I can't gather the strength to respond, quote, for the first time in my life. Now I know how she kept such a straight face during all those times I quoted Ross for Friends. She was right. All those times. It's not funny when it's real. It's just sad. All I could do was the one thing I thought I would never do when the girl of my dreams was quoting my most favorite movie of all times. I just cried. Her. I know I've had this car forever, and it's fallen apart, but the pink slip is back at the place. I signed it, and you can have it, okay? Of course. Here, she was still giving to me when she had no reason to do so. I couldn't muster up the strength to say anything, not even a simple thank you. Not even thank you for everything. I wish I could have done something. Please don't go. Thank you for the car. Sorry I'm still a freaking loser after all these years and still have nothing. But the fact of the matter is, I was hurt. I was bitter. And I was angry. So what came out of my mouth, the least vulnerable and the most unattractive thing I could think of, in hopes that there was a chance that I could maybe one day win her back. What I said was, "You're crazy. You know that?" I slowed down the car to a stop, since we were finally at the departure zone of the airport. She took a deep breath and simply replied to me, "I know." She then got out. I drove off, and I never saw her again. As I watched her get into that airport, in that rearview mirror, I muted my phone from all calls and DMs. The phone was blowing up from loved ones and texts from everyone saying, "How could you leave her at the airport alone so late like that?" Yes, I know I'm such a jerk for leaving her at a 24-hour public terminal with safety cameras in every direction around the clock with guards to protect her. How could I be so cruel? I then drove straight to the fast food places to get a ton of great late-night junk food to binge eat my sorrows away. Yeah, I could have also done some hard drugs, but I'm too much of a coward after that brownie incident, so dollar menu it is for me. Not really knowing it at the time, but this was the moment that started to define who I really am, now that I look back on it. Growing up with a big family and then going into a long-term relationship that is truly the first time not only was it physical alone. Growing up with a big family and then from going never physically being alone. But I realized now, when I got back to that apartment, that was the first time I was truly alone. After going through my hibernation of junk food and ice cream tube, like a girl that's pregnant or on her period, I said, why am I doing all these shit jobs? I now got nothing to lose. Like, even if I lose this place, who cares? I don't. I just didn't care about anything. It's a good thing, because now I could try anything. I truly have nothing to lose. There's way more room for risk when you're alone. I would hand off shifts to other workers so I could stay home and write more music, work more on my startups, try new marketing methods with my company, actually trying harder with other girls since I always kind of half-assed it, since I really never saw a future with them because my intention was always to figure things out until I could afford to marry the girl of my dreams. But that was no longer the case. She was gone forever. I continued to try harder, more and more, and things continued to fail over and over again. But who cares, right? Let's try anything. I was sending really bad pickup lines to girls and during a text message, and then just resulting in them laughing on how stupid I was. But trying really dumb business ideas that were all a bust. Probably even still some of the old Facebook pages up that I made for them. I should check that out sometime. To even trying out the club promoting thing. Like maybe if I start becoming a successful club promoter, she might somehow see and want me back. Right? She left me for a club promoter, so don't hate the player, hate the game? I don't know. Or maybe it'll help me finally not be so damn broke all the time. Or maybe it will lead to another girl. I just don't know. But it's worth a shot, right? For those of you that don't know my story, nightlife, bar, and club promotion is what stemmed into my opportunity to promote these new apps at the time called Uber and Lyft. Just when they were starting off in a couple cities, to then tens of thousands of dollars worth of credit I was attaining through the app, through the promo code program they later launched with me. They then reached out to me and saw how many credits I obtained and offered me the opportunity to pay me cash per new user. The rest after that was history. With them being my first clients to what turned into my full stack marketing company today, Promo Affiliates and Loop Media. I helped them and now many others too. Uber Eats, Postmates, DoorDash, Drizzly, Shipt and Saucy, Jet, and more. I helped them all grow nationwide to now worldwide, if you can believe it. But this was the new chapter in my life. The biggest thing that held me back with all these business ventures and all these women, and most importantly, her, was that I was always broke or just scraping by. I could never take them or her out to nice places they deserve to go. I cannot say, hey, let's go on a trip. That was never a possibility for me. But this, if I stuck my head down and worked hard, this maybe could change everything. The possibilities with this were scalable to infinity, literally. No joke, I asked them, straight up, what if I got a team big and good enough and got you guys millions of new users? Would you still pay these rates per new user? They simply said, not only yes, but that would be a good problem for us to have. Wow, they were right. The only thing that would hold me back now was me. And that was not going to happen. Not this time. And after that, I got off the phone and I felt it. I took one moment to think. My favorite scene from my favorite TV show, Breaking Bad, Season 3, Episode 5, played in my head. Walter White looks around and says, I have made a series of very bad decisions and I can't afford to make another one. I pretended to be like him. I looked around and sang this in my head. In my broken down studio apartment in the ghetto full of cockroaches. Yeah, I was a character. But then I remembered Gus would say, what does a man do, Walter? A man provides. And he does it even when he isn't respected. Even when he isn't appreciated. Or even loved. He simply bears up. And he does it because he is a man. Gus, Vince Gilligan, and Moria, Wally Beckett, sorry if I butchered your name, Moria, they were all right. This was it. I was not a man yet, and it was time for me to become one. Even if it didn't work. Even if I didn't get her back. If I never got any other woman again. Doesn't matter, that's not the point. My purpose in life was to do. And even if nothing came out of it, doesn't matter. It's to do. And to do now. So, I did. That scene became my alarm clock. Every morning, I would wake up to that mantra. I quit all other BS small paying side gigs and jobs and focused 110% of my time and life into this. Because I was not going to let this slip by. This was my one and only shot to manhood. No job or gig would ever offer to me. I woke up every day. I passed out cards everywhere, in every place, across the city, and at night. I would go on my laptop and learn how to get new users online. I didn't go to school or anything because I could never afford it. But Google is free. I learned everything. The words, the techniques. I never knew any of this existed. I learned and grew teams around social media ads, SEO blog and content marketing, digital marketing, and working out deals with my friends that were up and coming YouTube stars, Tana Mongeau, Colby Person, and Reaction Time, to help me promote these Uber codes as well and their videos. And they did. And it all went surprisingly well, and was a massive success, creating a whole marketing category no one ever heard of before, which later turned into which we all know today as the word influencer marketing. To those three that I just mentioned, thank you guys so much, because no joke, I sent out over 10,000 emails, and you three were the first to give it a shot. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We had no limits, no rules. It was the Wild West. My core team expanded nation and worldwide. After getting most of all the new users in Los Angeles already, we started to just focus 100% of my time online, since it drove way more results and made us way more money. We would work together all day, every day on the computer. I would legit wake up every day to my Gus quote alarm clock mantra, then work out, sit up on my computer, on my couch, and work until I passed out. I did this 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365. No weekends, no holidays, nothing. Holiday celebrations would be heard from my window. I wouldn't even realize it until I thought I heard gunshots, and then I'd take a look out the window and just see 4th of July fireworks. I would smile and then just get back to work. I was a machine, addicted to the success I've been finally waiting for all these years. The harder I worked, the better I got rewarded. It was about damn time. The problem was that even though I was working out every day, I would lay on my back with my laptop the entire rest of the day. I would also eat junk food and snacks all day to stay up and to stay focused because, well, my only other alternative was to do hard drugs. And again, now I was no longer about being a coward and wanting to repeat from my accident. But it was more now about that I would risk my mental clarity and would lose out on more of an opportunity. Junk food and snacks, unless if you guys have a better idea, please reach out and let me know, because sometimes I feel that's the only option. Yes, this is what led to my massive weight gain, from normal to overweight to morbidly obese. I no longer cared though, because I was a man now. If I ever met a girl again I could afford to pay, I would rather have that any day than what I used to have. I was never going back. The problem was the only thing I cared about more about being a man was my company. I even started to notice my friends and team, what we call ourselves, online gladiators. They would start bringing up my health to me as a concern. I took that to heart because as a leader, I could not create worry that my health one day could affect even their livelihoods, I started to panic a bit. I didn't even own a mirror at the time, but bought one and was blown away at what the fuck happened to me. How much time has gone by? Like, how could this happen? And how could have this happened so fast? I will never forget it. Even one of my colleagues and teammates and brother, Graham Loop, whom is even helping me put these courses and book together, gave me this metaphor to help explain my current state. He said, "Aaron, you're currently like China right now, in the sense of, yes, you have flourished better than ever economically, but at the sake of everything." What did he know, though, right? I could probably just buy a solution. He also didn't have a bunch of people now depending on him financially, like I did, so easier than said than done. But he was right. My check engine light was on, and everyone was screaming it to me on the top of their lungs, and I just chose to ignore it because I was a man now. Years of this went by. Hitting our millions of new user goal for our clients got accomplished. Word got out. We then got featured in TechCrunch, HuffPost, Forbes, Fox News, and more. If you don't believe me, Google it. But regardless, this was unreal. People from high school that I used to ask for advice on essays and schoolwork were now randomly DMing me on life and business advice. Me. The still to this day dyslexic guy that almost dropped out. The problem was the only advice I had for them was it was just a lot of work and time, which nobody wants to hear. I mean, even I was not a fan, but you know what they say, it is what it is. My studio apartment started to get full with my in-person team coming over to work with me. Them working all around my broken down bed, still with cockroaches running amok. I got told, "Hey, Aaron, I know you like saving money and all, but don't you think we could be more productive when we don't have to keep wiping cockroaches off our feet? I mean, some of these luxury apartments even have printers, faster internet, and more importantly, you can write most of it off as a tax write-off since we legit will be working there too. Shit, he was right. This is pretty pathetic, and it started to affect my team's morals to the point they even felt that they should say something to me about it. Took the risk and got us a better office that I could still co-use as my apartment, and productivity increased. I was so lucky to have such a great team of work friends. I let them decorate the place with very cool, fancy, glossy black boards we use for our meetings and massive bean bags and more. It started to have a look and feel which bled into the company style and website as well. This place is pretty cool now, Aaron. If you ever got off your ass and dated again, a girl might be even impressed too, I bet. One of my colleagues said. Wow, she was right. I even forgot about dating. I will give it a shot sometime. Cuts in never years later. But then one day, I got this DM. Not from her, not from my ex, but her grandma. I hope you're having a good Sunday. I hope you're having a good Sunday. Thought I might mention that blank is back in LA. Didn't want you caught unaware. If you bump into each other, not likely, but you'll never know. Me to myself. Why now? I'm busy. I've had zero time to work on myself. Fuck. I responded and told her thanks for the heads up, and I was down to give her car back since I never used it anyway, and she probably could use it. But then I got a DM from her, the ex. She said, "Hi. Hey, I'm unblocked. Cool. I see you sometimes like photos of me. Thought it was a time to say a friendly hello. Is that cool?" Scene. Hey. Okay. Well, I really just wanted the opportunity to say something. I know a lot of the time has passed and it's probably not thought to you anymore, but I've always wanted to say some things that weighed me down over these years. I was really sorry for how I handled things at the end. That's always been a regret of mine. I was an idiot and impulsive, and you never deserved that. You're actually still one of my favorite humans on this planet. I've always thought very highly of you. If you don't feel the same, I just wanted you to know that. And I really hope all is well for you, and that this message isn't weird for you. It's totally okay if you don't respond. Not looking for anything other than to say that. Hope you get to spend the holidays with your family. XX. See, she copied and pasted the feature they did in me in Forbes in the DM and wrote, "Wow, beyond proud of you. Not just now, always have been. Don't ever change. X." Scene. I hope you're doing well. I was going to ask if you're serious about the car, because that'd be amazing. Only if you don't need it though. I can't believe you still have it. I'm sorry if it's ended up being a burden for you. That was never my intention. I've got to figure out a few things before taking it, but let me know when it works for you. Maybe next week we can meet in the middle, or you can have someone do it like you said. Let me know it works. Also, been wanting to say thanks for buying my grandma that AC. That was very sweet. Only wish I thought of doing that. So, I lied earlier on when that was the last time I saw her. I did. I saw her one more last time. And this was it. I didn't leave the last message unseen. I responded and said I could have someone drop it off to not make things awkward. No, she responded, no, it's cool, and she could stop by. Why? Why did it have to go down like this? I was not ready. I wanted another shot maybe one day, but I knew if it went down now, it would blow it if she saw me like this. But life does not care if you're ready. It happens, whether you like it or not. So I told her it was cool for her to come by and get it. And well, she did. The door knocked and we talked. She still looked as beautiful as ever. And of course, she was wearing all white. Same smile, same positivity, and same glow. And looked great. Well, I obviously did not. This was the moment all these years and this entire time built up to. I was supposed to ask her out and we would live happily ever after. But unfortunately, this was no romance novel, Hollywood film, or Nicholas Sparks story. This was real life. I mean, I could ask her out anywhere, and for the first time in my life, I could actually afford it, but it doesn't matter. Because even though I didn't have a first edition shiny holographic Ponyta Pokemon card to give to her, I didn't need it, because I knew from all those years ago that if I asked her out at this moment, I knew the answer, and I knew the answer of why she would say no. I was once again that chubby kid. After she finished, I took a deep breath and said, "It was great seeing you." And she said, "You too. I think I gotta sign this pink slip, and want to do it now before I forget. Do you have a pencil I could borrow?" I smiled, handed her a pencil, and she smiled. She took it from me and headed out that door. That was the last time I ever saw her. Yes, in life we need to provide for each other, whether it be for financially, time, effort, affection, or love. But we also need to be healthy and fit, or we will lose out on the things in life that were the most important to us. Whether it be more time, more energy, more magnetism for loved ones, or maybe a chance for the ones that got away. We can spend our whole lives hating the players and the game, but in the end, it is the game. Once we realize it, accept it, and play, fail, and learn over and over again until we win, that's when the real fun begins. Some of you have already seen my videos of before and afters, from morbidly obese to overweight to normal, and I'm on my road to fit. I need all the help I can get, not only to get fit, but to maintain it, which is the most important, I think, because what I had to learn the hard way is just because you have obtained something doesn't mean it'll last forever. You could lose it. This is why I created FitLabs, or fitlabs.co. Maybe one day I can buy the .com too. Just the guy wants 10 grand, so what can I say? But regardless, in hopes not only I and whoever else wants to help consistently provide information, content, videos, and new discoveries we share with me and each other to help us achieve and maintain our goals. But I also hope it creates a community where we can learn from each other and about each other's whys. and most important of all, hold each other accountable, like a family. If you also believe in this vision and see this can provide you value too, then this is an open invitation. I can't wait to hear about your why, your progress, your goals, and your dreams. If my mistakes and my stories only help just one person, you, then all of it is worth it. I will be posting my progress every day on social media. No exceptions, no excuses, no nothing. And I hope you hold me accountable. If I don't, call me out. Talk shit. Tell me, bro, it has been weeks since the holidays, and you have not posted an accountability pic. Stop sitting around watching The Godfather on repeat with your pops, playing Xbox with your little bros, and eating your mom's tamales and Christmas cookies, and get back to it. Being PC is great and all, but what about AC? Politically correct and accountability. Let's all hold each other accountable and become the big brother I never had. Maybe we can do like #ACFam so that the world knows we have good intentions and are not just trolling each other and bullying each other. I give an open invitation on all my posts for you guys to do so, because I don't really care and I do need it. Seriously, I do. So please troll away. Troll on every post that I ever post. But if you want the same reactions from me and everyone else, or if you just want us to go easy on you but still help, and say so too. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Like, what do you think? Because now we have our whys. It now all comes down to why not. Maybe if we do this, it could work. Maybe I can still win her back. And if not, maybe I can find love again, someone else. Maybe you too can achieve your why. Or maybe we can even achieve them together.